What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the special hour. We are all the way up to episode 37. As usual, I am joined with my co-host, DonovanDud. What's up, Donovan?
Hi there, it's Donovan, and if I was leading this episode, I legit was about to forget the episode number as I just recited it like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I as a bit, I was about to accidentally forget it, but I decided to not do that. I should have done it though. And once again, we are on a roll right now on the podcast. This is, I think, our 5th straight episode with a guest. What is up, Mark's Rec Room, or Mark Haha? I don't know what you go by these days, but I'm gonna.
Hey, either is acceptable. I'll take it. Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes,
it's a pleasure to have you on. Before we go any further, do you want to go ahead and kind of give a basic rundown of who you are, what you do on YouTube for anyone that's unfamiliar?
Sure. So my name's Mark. I go by Mark Haha or Mark's Rec Room. I think my channel name is Mark's Rec Room these days.
I think.
I wanted it to.
I think.
I changed it somewhat recently because I wanted it to. I think it was. I sent an email to somebody and I did not want to say, "Oh, I run the YouTube channel Mark Haha," so I changed it.
Is that actually the reason why?
That is. I've been meaning to change it for a while because Mark's Rec Room. So I do a lot of different types of video essay, gamer essay style content where I like to get kind of analytical and do some deep dives into some games that I love, a lot of which are multiplayer party games. And my main series is called Mark's Rec Room, where I'm going through like a bunch of party games, particularly Mario Party, and kind of analyzing them and the evolution of the series and how it makes like a good multiplayer experience. So I decided to name the channel after the series because I like the name, and I also think that it's a little bit more fitting than the original name that I had.
Well, I still like Mark Haha as a name. Like it not to like,
it's very quirky.
Not to be corny, but like it makes me all right, I'm just gonna
Wait. What are your thoughts on Mario Party 4?
Mario Party 4, really great mini games. The boards are pretty trash, honestly.
Thank you. I was holding my breath for a sec.
There's some good bits in there, but like Shy Guys Jungle Jam is a pretty good board. But oh my god, some of the worst boards in the series are in that game, I think.
Oh yeah. I would know because I love Mario Party 4 so much. I love it to death.
That may or may not be sarcasm. I have yet to play Mario Party 4, so I have no comment on the matter. The only Mario Party game that I think I have, well, I don't know if it's a hot take or not, maybe it is Mario Party 8. And I already watched your video talking about Mario Party 8. I don't remember everything that you said, but I think I remember the gist of your opinion on the game. I remember you being kind of critical, correct me if I'm wrong, critical about like the item system. Or it's items, right? Or in that game, it's like candy.
Yeah, in that game, it's candies.
Yeah, I remember you being critical of the way the candy system was implemented because of how I wish I remember exactly what you said.
Oh, you're good.
I don't want to twist your words. What was it you were saying about the candy in that video?
Yeah, so in that video, I think my biggest critiques were the candy system was just, it's not a terrible system, it's just forgettable. Because like it follows, I would argue, one of Mario Party's best item systems, which is the orb system. Where some items are thrown onto spaces to create traps, some are used on yourself. And then the candy system, it just kind of goes back to basics in a way that like the first 3 games with items do. The implementation of those is a little bit less interesting than what some of the games that came before it did. Like even Mario Party 3, the items are used the same way, but I would argue Mario Party 3's item system is vastly superior because there's a lot more items that could be used in multiple ways to devise multiple strategies that I think is a lot of fun. I think the candy system is streamlined and it's easy to understand, but it's a little simplified to the point of lacking flavor. That's my personal take.
Which, okay, I remember the not to make the entire podcast just about Mario Party, I guess it was kind of inevitable. Yeah, but we literally have the Mario Party expert on the show, so we really could if we wanted. I remember with Mario Party 8, the take that you had that I did really agree with, though, is the golden spaces kind of ruining the game.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I was watching a video and you were going over each of the boards, and you were like, like the board had potential, but then the golden space had to be placed right here, and it ruins everything about the board. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's except for Koopa's Tycoon Town, which is peak.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a hot take. I mean, I think everyone agrees with that.
That board, I've never played Mario Party 8, but that board intrigues me a lot.
Mario Party 8 or Tycoon Town is a very, very good board. I think the rest
I hear a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, because like the lucky not to make this whole episode about Mario Party, but the lucky space on that board takes you to other hotels like on like it's their own strip, so they're harder to get to, but they're not just free stars like some of the other boards in in that game are. Like the lucky space gives you just like basically a free star, so you circumvent the win objective, which I think it kind of undermines the design of the boards when you can get a star for free reliably from a space. It's not like a hidden block where you don't know where they're placed, that you just happen to get one randomly. It's like you can know where it is and seek it out and get a free star over actually engaging with the board's main objective.
What I do really like about Mario Party 8 though is I love that one mini game that just has you jerking off.
Oh
like
yeah,
the soda can one. Yeah,
classic.
It's so iconic.
Yeah, they have you waggling the Wii remote like that, and then it like shoots up. It's crazy. That's a crazy game.
Yeah. Wait, I didn't even think about that part of it, because I just remembered, all I remembered is just shaking the Wii remote. I forgot that the whole point is that it's like the soda can is exploding.
It's a crazy.
You know what? I'm gonna. I don't want this podcast to get age restricted any more than it needs to, so I'll just stop there.
The only thing that rubs me the wrong way about Mario Party 8 is that it looks like a Sonic game. And what I mean by that, it has the goofy Mario characters with their weird body proportions, and then the environments are just like maybe not desaturated, but like they're like Unreal Engine assets. They look too realistic, and they don't.
It's like
fit
uncanny.
In with the Mario characters.
It's uncanny.
It's uncanny.
It's like the Super Smash Bros. Brawl is art style a little bit, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's odd. And I think the most uncomfortable part of that is like, have you ever played or seen the section with like the Mii's where
yes,
like
dude, it's so weird.
There's a section of the game that has like it's like 8 little mini games that involve like the Wii's and stuff.
There's one with there's like you're like racing almost like it's Mario Kart.
Yeah, it's a Moped Mayhem. So there's like 30 characters on like little mopeds. So there's like a thwomp with no arms on like a moped and stuff like that. And you're like, you're racing insane on like this really bland track. It's very odd. And then there's the other one, whose name is escaping me. The comments are going to get me for this, but it's the one where
he's fake. He's a fake Mario Party expert.
It's the one where you're in like the Star Wars land speeder and like you're racing through like this weird, like, canyon that is like very photorealistic. It's odd. It's very out of place, but in a way there's like a endearing like quality to it where it was like, oh, they were trying to look realistic there, weren't they?
They try to make Mario look hard and tough.
I have one more question about Mario Party 8, and then I promise we'll move on because we're already 10 minutes in. Okay, is there a reason why the aspect ratio is so weird in Mario Party 8?
Yeah, here's a super nerdy fact about it. So the menus, like the main menus, are a kind of widescreen. They're not full 16:9, but they're like widescreen. Then you get into the gameplay and it's 4:3, and like for all of the mini games, I don't know.
That's why I thought it was weird. Every single time I play the game, I'm like, why is it keep flipping around?
Yeah, but so there are 2 revisions of Mario Party 8. The first one is like the 4:3 sections have a little border on them. It's like a blue border with like a little carnival design or whatever.
Scott the Woz.
And then the second version just has black borders on the side because people reported that like it was burning into their screen or something like that. So there's technically 2 different versions of Mario Party 8 that have like the different borders on them depending on when you got the game, basically.
Interesting. Wow. Hudson Soft wanted to go out with a bang by burning their Mario Party game into everyone's
They already burned
screens.
your palms with the first game.
You know what? Maybe because like because I'm having so much fun with this Mario Party 8 discussion, maybe at some point in the future we can have Mark on again for a solely dedicated Mario Party 8. It'd be really funny. Okay, so wait, let's actually get into the episode itself, because I had a lot planned and I don't want to spend the entire time just ranting about Mario Party 8.
Dude, I'm a yapper. I can.
No, we are too. Don't worry, we are too. Okay, so
there's a thing that we
usually. Well, Donovan, we haven't gotten to the thing that we normally do yet.
Oh,
we have to
wait,
start with the
you're
pleasantries.
So right. I forgot.
So what have you guys been up to? This episode is a train wreck. What have you guys been up to the past week? What's been going on in the lives of DonovanDud and Mark's Rec Room?
Midterms.
Fun.
We didn't record last Tuesday. Okay, yeah. So I went to Michigan, Ann Arbor with some friends. Had a great time. I knew something was up with my mind when I was losing in Mario Kart. It was a fun party. Had a great time. The drive there and back was 4 hours, and then I had to go straight back into architecture work. It was nightmare fuel. It lobotomized me. I got like a little bit of sleep on Tuesday, survived on Wednesday, and today I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna skip my morning class. I just don't feel like it. So yeah.
Wait, speaking of that, okay, this is such a random icebreaker question, but you just made me think of this. So you guys know how back in like the 50s, they did lobotomies on just like pretty much anyone that walked around, right? Like they would just.
This is an icebreaker question.
Yeah, this is an icebreaker.
So Donovan just made me think of this. By the way, for anyone, like if anyone is a fan of Mark's channel and you're just here, we are a very unhinged podcast, if you can't tell yet. I find lobotomies very interesting though, because oftentimes it would just be like a parent sending their kid to get a lobotomy because they like forgot to turn the light off in the room or some shit like that. Like it would be absurd. So Donovan, what do you think you would have done to get a lobotomy if you were alive in the 50s?
If I was in the 50s,
what would you have done?
Probably walk on the street. Walk on the sidewalk the wrong way. It is the 50s after all.
Or like you don't look both ways before crossing. Mark, what about you? Why would you have been lobotomized if you were alive in the 50s?
Oh God, I've got so many quirks. It's hard to. Oh man, I would probably be writing essays about like whatever board game we play in the 50s or card game or something. They'd be like, something is wrong with that guy. Get off the typewriter. Why is he writing?
That's a really good like old fashioned accent actually. Maybe you'd be playing Monopoly and you get caught stealing a 500 from someone else and then they lobotomize you.
Send this kid to the mental hospital.
Mark, have you ever stolen money in Monopoly?
Oh,
have you ever stolen something?
Just in general.
In Monopoly, when I was a kid, I used to do this thing where if I didn't have money to pay rent, all of a sudden the bank would start raining money, and I would happen to collect enough to be able to pay the rent for the thing I just landed on.
Whoa, that's like the craziest coincidence.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh man.
Dude, wait.
No, I'm all for helping the poor, but once I get that hotel, I start raising the rent like crazy. Okay.
Oh yeah, the second I get Boardwalk and Park Place, I turn into the most vicious landlord you've ever seen in the world. Okay.
My personal trick in Monopoly though is to go for the orange spots because it's like that specific. Dude, orange is goated. It's that specific part of the board where the houses are still only $100 each, but you still get a lot of money for them because if you go to the next row, then it becomes $150 per house, and properties are more. We're gonna, dude. I've never been this unhinged on the podcast.
We were talking about life. Wait, how did we get here? I said I got lobotomized.
Yeah, Mark. What have you been up to the past week?
Oh man, I mean, I've kind of been in the editing mines a little bit. I've been editing a new video, so that's been a decent amount of what I've been doing. But it's spring. It's starting to get a little warmer, so I've been going out on walks a little bit more and stuff like that. Nice. Even though I've been sneezing, like, because I have terrible seasonal allergies. So like whenever the whenever it gets really polleny, I start like it's awful, but I try to endure it anyway.
Are you someone that whenever you go on walks, you listen to music or podcasts such as the special hour, like and subscribe? Or do you just kind of walk by yourself and just like absorb,
without the special hour in your ear for some reason?
Yeah.
I usually walk with my partner. So we'll like talk when we walk.
Okay.
But if I'm
like,
going by myself.
You guys like talk about the special hour?
Yeah, no, we usually talk about what the special hour was going on about with whether it's
we were going to give you a lobotomy
or,
if you didn't.
What is happening?
But and then I've been reading the Dragon Quest Mark of Erdrick manga is coming out. It's like a localization of like an old Dragon Quest manga that's like been coming out, and the 3rd chapter just came out like on Tuesday or something. So I've been reading that. It's been fun.
Mr. Dean? Oh, you have a fun event?
Yeah, I know. So I've had probably the craziest last week out of any of the podcasts we've ever done. But I got a colonoscopy over this past week. This was so fun. Not that it was not fun. Not fun. Wait, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was gonna say I've heard they're not fun, but I've heard they're really good for you. No. You should do them, audience.
Oh yeah, you should do it.
Well, I'm not trying to proclaim our audience.
Or anti-colonoscopy.
This is not medical advice.
Anti-big pharma.
I'm not a doctor.
I've generally heard.
Yeah. Okay. I won't dive into the specific reason I got it, but I'll just talk about how the procedure went.
The camera dived into something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know what a colonoscopy is, what's interesting about getting a colonoscopy is the few days leading up to it, you have to prep for the colonoscopy. So like for 2 days, I had to eliminate fiber from my diet. And then the day leading up to it, I couldn't eat any solid food whatsoever. Honestly, that all wasn't even the bad part. I was expecting that to be like, horrible, because I like eating food. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. The bad part is the drink that you have to take. Essentially, how do I describe the way it tastes? It was like salty and acidic at the same time. And every single time I swallowed, it triggered my gag reflex. So it was like every single time I like took a swig, I felt like I was about to just throw up. It was so bad. Anyway, that's how my past week has been. It was great. With that being said, I feel good now though. Everything's going good. I'm like actually happy.
Good.
Well,
Describe your colon. No, please don't.
Well.
So Mario Party,
dude, when I tell you this is the most unhinged episode we've ever done, I mean this is the most. I feel like on more caffeine right now than I normally am before recording, so that probably has something to do with this. So Donovan, do you want to get to the segment that we normally do on the show?
Apparently, we do that.
So this is allegedly a segment that we do called Special Selects. Is essentially where we just talk about whatever we've been playing over the past week. So as we seamlessly transition from my colon to what we've been playing, Donovan, what have you been playing over the past week?
Oh boy,
Hades 2. How's Hades 2 been
the big F and H, Hades 2 and FF7. Hold on, there's something else I was playing. Oh yes, Mark, I think you and I could tag team this. We've been playing the Tomodachi Life Living the Dream demo.
Oh, yeah.
It's a small demo, a small piece of the game that will be transferred over or can be transferred over. Getting to that title screen, something in me unlocked. It just repressed memories, or not repressed, they're happy memories from Tomodachi Life on Nintendo 3DS. And it's like, wow, this is like, I believe 12 years later after Tomodachi Life released. This felt, like child me coming back and playing this new game. I have created such a long list of potential me's to add to my island. It's concerning.
Oh yeah.
But the actual game itself, it's Tomodachi Life. It looks quirkier than ever. I think there's literally something called quirks where you can give to all your residents. The Mii Maker, pretty cool. I like the aesthetic that they got going on with the more cel shaded art style. Yeah, it's a small bite of the game, and it doesn't disappoint. Very fun, very quirky. And I'm hoping that the full retail release will come with all the punches, will not restrict anyone, which it seems like it doesn't restrict a lot of words.
I saw on Twitter someone put like a slur or some shit in the game,
dude,
and it just did not censor
Nintendo is very relaxed on the censoring this time around, which
very
I'm
odd.
You know, I'm gonna applaud them for that. I didn't think they'd do that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, it's just funny because in the original Tomodachi Life, you like couldn't even say crap. And
But now you could just say fuck.
You can say anything. It's crazy that like there's no filter, because you're right. Like in the original Tomodachi Life, well, I guess Tomodachi Life is technically the second game in the series, but like in the original game, it's like you couldn't say anything even remotely close to like a swear word or something like crude. They would it would get filtered really easily. So it's surprising to me that they opted to go the no filter route. I'm wondering if that's going to actually transfer to the final release. Like if they're, or if they're like a filter will be added last minute.
Dude, I feel I wouldn't be surprised if a filter will be added. There's no way Nintendo. This is the same company that added a report feature to the videos in Kirby Air Riders.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's no way.
If they didn't have it in the demo, maybe in the version 1 release they won't have censoring, at least, probably.
Because we still got a few weeks, so I could definitely see them adding it, like, you know, retroactively, especially like if they see people like using like making their Miis say slurs on like Twitter or whatever, they're most likely gonna say, okay, we probably can't have that. And they're probably
the thing is, though, they've already put in a precaution beforehand. You know, we're limiting how you share images and videos from living the dream onto social media. So maybe that was their telltale sign of, yeah, we tried at least, but we're at least giving players the freedom of no censorship, but we're just gonna throw that out there. Please be.
I don't get that. No, I don't get that.
Yeah, which is odd.
But yeah, that's odd because like they know people can still just post what they make on social media regardless, right? Like just because they take out the direct compatibility in game to do that, I could just take a screenshot of me putting. I was gonna say me putting I would never put a slur on Tomodachi Life.
But this is the last episode of the podcast,
dude. I was saying me. I would never do that. I'm just saying, in theory, someone could do that. They could put whatever, insert blank word, put it on Twitter, and it's like, I mean, I feel like if Nintendo was hard nails about keeping any form of profanity of things that are, you know, taboo out of the game, they would have just embedded that into the functionality of like putting custom phrases or whatever else, right? I could be wrong, but I would assume, knowing Nintendo, they wouldn't in the full game have that. If they did, I mean, I think in my opinion, I think it would be cool to, you know, be able to swear and stuff in Tomodachi, because I just feel like that'd be so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah. I think that's my only game for the week other than the big F&H.
Mark, have you been playing anything other than Tomodachi Life?
I've been playing a decent amount of games, but a few of them are for videos, so I'm gonna keep that kind of closer to my chest. But something I have been playing.
No, we can't get the special hour exclusive.
Well, something I have been playing recently is I've been going through all of the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. And I just finished Final Fantasy IV. So those have been pretty fun. I've been enjoying kind of like, because I've played a lot of like the golden years of Final Fantasy, and I played a lot of the newer ones like 15 and like the 7 remake and such. But I like haven't really played many of the Pixel games. So going back through was really fun. 4 was definitely my favorite of the Pixel remasters I've played thus far. Definitely very.
Are those in HD 2D?
No, they're just remastered, but they're not like in HD 2D. They're kind of like, I think the goal of the Pixel remasters was to try to retain the original style as much as possible. Whether or not they accomplish that, I think, is up to personal taste, but I do think that they did a good job by trying to at least preserve the art style at least somewhat. It's not like a full-on HD 2D remake.
Is the actual gameplay the same, or did they like add quality of life stuff, anything like that?
Oh, there's tons of quality of life stuff. Like there's auto battling. There's like, if you're one of those people that likes to do like if you're worried about like the grinding in like old Final Fantasy games, especially like Final Fantasy 3 is like notoriously grindy, you can turn up the amount of like EXP you get per battle, so it like can make grinding faster or something like that. If you're into that, you can like turn encounters off, that sort of thing. I think they integrated some items into the game that I may have not been originally there. Like I said, I'm playing these for the first time, so I'm not super familiar with all of the changes. I direct you to, I believe his name is Austin SV. He makes really good like port comparison videos for like different games like that, and he did a bunch of them for the Final Fantasy remasters. It was what made me want to do the pixel remasters instead of like playing the originals. But yeah, other than that, I think they're pretty authentic experiences, generally speaking. They don't overhaul the gameplay in too drastic of ways.
Cool. As for me, I've been playing Pokemon Picopia. I haven't really gotten Donovan, there's nothing funny about that. I'm just saying that.
Sure. It's up to a 90 on Metacritic. I find that so hilarious.
Which is just, yeah, is that higher than Bonanza?
It's the highest rated game of the year right now.
That's just so funny. Well, it's not funny because it deserves it because it's peak, but it's just funny that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, like it should be. Yeah, I love
Switch
I love
2
it.
killer game.
You know, I was in a call with Donovan recently, and I was talking about the potential of this being my favorite Switch 2 game. It's genuinely in the running. Right now, it's probably between that and Mario Kart World. I'm actually a Mario Kart World defender now. My most, not to plug my own channel, my most recent video was like low key like me dick riding Mario Kart World. Bonanza is up there too, but like I feel like I haven't really felt compelled to replay Bonanza as much recently compared to other games. So I would be kind of lying if I said Bonanza was like, you know, on the same level as Picopia or Mario Kart World. Anyway, as for my thoughts on Picopia, I think that there is such a beautiful element to the storytelling. I think I kind of made a tweet about this, but a lot of people, whenever the game first came out, were talking about how depressing the game is, how it's like, oh, like everything is so sad. It's like apocalyptic, you know. In reality, I see it as the opposite because the game is this really cool, you know, vehicle of telling you that like you're able to rebuild from nothing, and it's a kind of a beacon of hope, of inspiration, beauty, of preserving the environment and culture and everything. And I think that all that's really cool. As for the gameplay loop itself, incredibly satisfying. I remember the first like hour or two of playing the game, I was literally just walking around and watering grass, and then I found out that I could just later in the game make it rain, and all that was like wasting my time kind of, and I didn't care whatsoever because it was so satisfying to do anyway. Sometimes building and using the tools can feel slightly clunky. So like sometimes the water gun, it's in a cross pattern, so like whenever you're walking around, you'll accidentally water blocks that you already have watered. Sometimes whenever you're placing blocks, it won't appear exactly where you want it to. Most of that is chalked up to the fact that the game is in third person, but it never has taken away from my fun. It's so infrequent that a lot of the time I don't really think anything of it. I would talk more, but we are already like halfway into the episode, and we have yet to talk about anything that we originally were planning on talking about with Mark. So I apologize. I feel like I derailed the beginning of the show.
You're good.
Yeah,
it might just have to be a double album, huh?
you guys can lobotomize me as a punishment if you want.
We have a couple questions for Mark here. Now we're in the real episode. Now, hello people that skipped over the colonoscopy stuff.
Yeah, no more joking around.
No, yeah, we're getting serious. Mark, what are some lessons that you've learned from the early days of your channel when you started?
Oh man. So yeah, that's a good question. And I think honestly, the number one is you just kind of have to learn that it's okay to be bad at like making videos. So like I started making videos around like COVID, you know, when a lot of people were, I think, starting to make videos. and stuff like that. And but I had always wanted to do it for like a while. I had ideas for videos, and then like I just, for one reason or another, I would just be like, I can't do it right now because of X, Y, or Z reason, which was always like me kidding myself a little bit. But then I like finally actually made a video, and at the time I was like, oh, this video's like I really like this video. It's good or whatever. I look back now at it, I'm like, that video's terrible. Like I look at like a lot of my old work and I'm like, oh, that stuff is bad. But the only reason I think it's bad is because, you know, I've spent time working on my channel and like working on writing better scripts and editing better like clips together and doing better voiceover. And so now I look back at those old works and I view it as like, oh, you know, I was bad, but in reality, you know, I've just learned and grown. So
there were necessary benchmarks.
Right, exactly. So I think that like a big thing I would tell like anybody who is like interested in like doing YouTube or for that matter, any kind of creative field is it is okay to suck ass. You just got to start, and you have to try where you are, meet yourself where you are, and you know, just kind of go from there, I suppose.
This is something we actually kind of talked about with Yoshiller on our previous episode. A lot of it does boil down to whenever you're not only YouTube, but any particular thing that you're interested in, whenever you're first getting into it, getting over that fear of failure or fear of being judged, either or.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that oftentimes is completely self-baked into your own brain, that people are going to be thinking, you know, a lot of things about whatever it is you're putting online, which, you know, maybe they are, you don't know, but I think is really just really like good to, you know, bring spirits into your own, or good spirits into your own mind, is remembering that everyone, like Mark was saying, either sucks whenever they first start something new, or they start at a much lower capacity than they are maybe 2 or 3 years into whatever the, you know, specific medium is. So if you're looking to become a chef, for example, your first time cooking a meal, you know, I mean, maybe it's not even bad. You know, maybe let's just say you're cooking pasta. Maybe it's like, you know, it's like a 5 out of 10. It's okay. It's just like your average, you know, meal. 2 or 3 years down the line, if you keep, you know, getting at it, you're going to look back at that first meal that you made and be like, dude, that was shit. And that's a beautiful thing. No, like, that's actually a great thing. And that's something that I think about a lot, is like, sometimes I'll think back to my first videos that I ever uploaded on the Mr. Dean channel. And there's so many little things that now, in retrospect, I'm like, why did I edit like that? Why did I write this video like that? Why did I narrate like that? At the time, I thought I was doing it to the best of my ability, because at the time it was the best of my ability. Yeah, I mean, all that's to say that I completely agree with what you're saying. I think that a lot of people, including myself, whenever I first got into YouTube, you know, are either scared of not doing a good job, or they're scared of people, you know, thinking negatively about what they're putting out there. But if you don't try, you know, nothing's going to ever happen, because you're not, you know, putting anything into the world. So
in the words of Yoda, just to put it simply, failure is the greatest teacher.
Yeah, Donovan, thank you for concisely putting what I just said into like one sentence.
Failure is the greatest teacher. Like 5 words.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I was gonna say, you know, like what you were saying about like, you know, the fear of failure. I think that's normal. I think that's human to be afraid of putting yourself out there and falling and scraping your knee or whatever, right? Like it sucks to put yourself out there and then, you know, feel like, you know, the video you made has bad retention or no views, or people are rude to you in the comments and stuff like that. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, a big part of building confidence is kind of exposure therapy, in the sense of being able to put yourself out there, you know, making more videos and trying to just make yourself a little better each time. Like something I think in the early stages of my videos, sometimes I like to go back and watch my old stuff, because it helps me to remember kind of like, you know, the way that I used to voice. I would do kind of like a more monotonous kind of like, I almost talked like deeper than what my voice actually is. Like my voice is more of like a tenor, but like
were you scared of people being like, this guy has a high pitched voice, like a squeaker or something?
Well, a little bit, but I think more of what it was I was worried that my natural cadence was not conducive to like
Oh,
a good YouTube
like to the
listen.
Yeah, to the narrator voice.
Yeah, because I'm naturally a fairly emotive person. Like I speak relatively like, you know, with like a lot of emotion in my like my intonation. And so like when I was first starting out, you know, I'm very inspired by people like, you know, say King K, like lots of the very popular YouTube like guild who have, I think, more calming, soothing kind of like more deep baritone bass voices that are able to do more of that, like, you know, calm, like smoother narration style. But I was trying to do it in a way that didn't fit me. And you could like, if you go back and like watch some of my old videos and then like some of my mid-tier, like newer stuff, you can tell that I'm getting a little bit more comfortable in being emotive and just being like more of the way that my voice is actually built and the way that I am intended to, or the way that I speak best. And then I think that has increased the quality of the content. I think it makes it feel a lot more authentic to me. And unfortunately, like, you know, I think it's very common that a lot of times you're going to kind of emulate the people who you're inspired by, but then you're going to find your own voice within that, I guess, in a way. You'll learn where to break away from your inspirations.
I think I remember in a couple of my earlier videos, I would intentionally start with my voice a little bit deeper and a little bit more monotone, and then like throughout the recording, I just gradually transitioned back to my normal voice. So like clearly it wasn't working, but yeah, it doesn't really. It's my voice. It's something that I shouldn't be ashamed of doing.
Well, and this is something we also talked about in one of the, I can't remember which one, but one of the previous episodes, we were talking about authenticity and the importance of, you know, separating yourself from the mob of other creators. And I would love to get your thoughts on this, Mark, too. But, you know, whenever we're talking about the amount of other YouTubers within the Nintendo sphere, even like, let alone your specific niche of content that you do, for example, maybe Mark, you know, obviously a lot of your content is like retrospectives, video essays, like that type of thing, right? Outside of that, just the fact that we're talking about Nintendo content at large, so many creators out there. Like you couldn't even begin to fathom the amount of people making content. And something that I remember thinking about a few months back, and I've definitely seen a difference ever since I started, you know, really putting this into the front of my mind, is what can I, like why is someone coming to my channel over anyone else's? Because at the end of the day, the topics I'm covering, the types of videos I'm making aren't unique at all. The things I'm displaying in my videos also are not things that other people couldn't emulate themselves. Is there anything that you've seen or anything that you've done that you believe like makes your own channel, you know, unique? Something that's like, okay, this person gets this from Mark's Rec Room specifically, not from X channel or Y channel.
Yeah, you know, that's a good question. I feel like a lot of times that's still in a work in progress. Like, you know, finding your like niche in the way that you want to present yourself, or what little corner of the internet you want to cultivate, I think is always going to be kind of, I think always ever changing, because you as a person are always going to be changing. Your interests are going to be changing. But for me, I think a lot of it is, you know, like I'm not the first person to make like video essays about Mario Party. Like I said, King K made videos about that. Another creator I like to watch his name was Cow Food Yum. He made like some Mario Party videos too. And I really enjoyed their content, and I remember watching it and like thinking about how I would do like a Mario Party series of my own. And a big part of it was like, you know, I wanted to kind of evaluate it from a perspective of that was maybe a little bit more holistic, which was how I arrived at doing so in my Mario Party videos for the uninitiated, which I essentially, for the mini game sets, my goal to evaluate each Mario Party game, this minigame set, is to give each minigame a rating from 1 to 10, and then derive the mean, median, and mode from like that set and compare that number to the rest of the games. The goal there was kind of to give me a concise way to mention every minigame and review them in some capacity, but also to have some kind of metric that I could use to compare to the other sets in the series and kind of compare the way that the minigames worked. Because something, and this is no shade at any other creators or anything like that. Like you said, this is just a means of figuring out how you want to carve out your niche or how you want to stand out. But like I noticed kind of a through line was, there's some good mini games and there's some bad mini games is like usually the prevailing sentiment in like any Mario Party video I watch, not just from like the creators I mentioned, like from anybody who talks about Mario Party. It's like, it's a Mario Party game. There's good games and there's bad games. And I wanted to be like, okay, well, how could we maybe take that conversation a little bit further? Like how could we talk about maybe minigame set composition? How could we talk about, like quality of minigames overall, diversity of types? Like how do we make, or like, how could I maybe take that conversation and add something to it, contribute something to it? Because at the end of the day, like, what do you make videos for? It's ideally to, I think, contribute something to a conversation that you feel is productive, maybe sow the seeds of productive discourse, basically. My goal is to hopefully help people think a little bit more deeply about the games they enjoy, even if it's something as simple as Mario Party.
I just found that conversation so interesting as soon as you brought up the thing about your voice, because I think that ties into the whole ethos about like not pretending to be someone you're not as well, because like at the end of the day, and this goes out to anyone that's thinking about making content as well, because I really cannot emphasize it enough. But like, I feel like if anyone were to ask me for my personal 2 cents on like what is the most important thing whenever it comes to content creation, not to be cliche, but it really is like, be yourself. Like it's a mistake I made in the beginning days. Countless people do, is wearing your influences too heavily on your sleeves and just being someone that is more concerned with not, evolving the medium in any way, and just, not emphasizing any sense of like who you are and what you contribute to your own channel. In other words, what works for someone else won't specifically work for you as well. The reason why it works for them is because they are who they are. I think it's really cool that you were able to, because I was assuming your answer was going to be like, oh, like I love making video essays, and I decided like, there aren't a lot of channels doing that with Mario Party. I didn't realize there were like other channels who also like did a lot of Mario Party content too. So it was really cool that your answer talked about the more, like constructive side of the content itself. Like the nuances of the way you engaged with the games in a way that you felt wasn't being fully discussed online. So yeah, I mean, in general, is there any other thing that you think is like, important in terms of like the early days of content creation? Anything that like looking back, maybe you wish you knew before, obviously you are where you are today?
I mean, I think the biggest thing I would say is like, I feel like the best way to, I think, kind of help improve your content and like the stuff that you want to do is to honestly just be a fan of other people and be a fan of other work that you enjoy. And I think also being a fan of work that is outside of your niche. So, like I love Mario Party. I love watching Mario Party videos. I love listening to people talk about those sorts of games and stuff like that. I love gaming culture and games discourse in general. However, if I only watch gaming videos, if I only consume content from people who are in my niche, I'm going to write like everybody else. Like, not to be cliche, but it's how you arrive at the world or where people are saying, Sonic had a rough transition to 3D over and over and over and over again, like, or everything is a return to form or something like that. I think it was Gene Park posted a really good tweet that kind of changed my perspective on this, where he said something he did when he was getting into games writing, because he writes for the Washington Post. He does like games writing for them, and he said one of the things that he does is he reads car part reviews and evaluates the way that they describe how these parts work, or how like the way that they describe things is different than how we in the games world describe things. And the like reading that kind of it like turned a cog in my brain. I was like, like I have some of my critiques of my own work is that I feel like sometimes I'm like, like I just feel like I sound like every other YouTuber out there. I sound like every other gaming YouTuber or whatever. And I don't want people to feel like I'm just kind of adding nothing. My goal is that
you got to be well-rounded.
Yeah, being well-rounded, I think, is extremely underrated when it comes to, I think, any type of content, but especially if you want to be analytical, if you want to be, kind of like writing opinion pieces, like retrospectives or reviews and things like that. The more that you can inform your perspective from things outside of your niche, I think it's going to make you a more well-rounded writer. So, read books, read reviews of music, or like something I like is food reviews, like reading like food reviews and things like that helps me to, I think, kind of break out of that a little bit more. It's still a work in progress, but I feel like the more I can kind of break out of my niche, the more of a unique palette it gives me, if that makes sense.
I haven't consciously thought of that, making yourself more well-rounded in terms of like the kinds of reviews you make in order to make your own writing feel a lot more unique in whatever sphere you're in. Because I didn't even like I watch
also
a
like
bunch
the
of
content that you consume.
Yeah. I watch a bunch of gaming reviews, but then I also watch a lot of tech reviews, movie reviews, and unconsciously, maybe like you're just bringing this up now and I haven't thought of it, but now that I'm thinking about it, maybe some of that lingo, that writing style from movie reviews and tech reviews subtly influence what I write, which in turn sort of makes it a little bit more of a unique voice.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, for sure. So while Mark was talking, I was low-key looking at his oldest videos, right? Like just the thumbnails and titles.
He's digging through the archives.
I am. So, well, first of all, your first ever video, Fox combo video. You've come a long way, Mark. 27 seconds
Fox
long.
combo video.
Hey, I put that Donkey Kong in the dirt, brother.
Thoughts on Fox and the Mario movie?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that just happened today at the time of recording.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's my thoughts at the moment. Pretty cool. No, but what I was gonna say is, like, for example, your first 12 videos, it looks like maybe 3 of them are video essays or like opinion pieces. Most of them are either like random videos that aren't really in a specific category or like reviews of games that just came out. So like you have Mario Golf Super Rush, you have WarioWare Get It Together, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, and then you have a few like video essays like Why I Love Animal Crossing, What is a Replay Value, and I Miss the Old Star Fox. So you already had like a little bit of the DNA of the general vibe of, and by the way, I haven't watched these old videos. I don't know. You could correct me if the actual content is different than what I'm implying. But what I'm trying to say is that some of the DNA of like, the way your content structured was already kind of there. But whenever you first made your channel and you started uploading, like what in your head were you planning on doing with the channel? Like, was there a certain direction you were trying to go in at first and then you just eventually kind of went in the video essay route? Or were you immediately like, I would ideally love to do video essays?
I think I was always kind of a video essay guy because that's my personal favorite type of video on YouTube. Like the ones that stick with me are the video essays. Or, sometimes there's entertaining videos like Ludwig Squeaks and Valkyrie and Fuslie did like a Mario Party marathon. That video stuck with me because I find it very entertaining. But like most of the videos that I really, really love are video essays. So I knew that was kind of always what I wanted to do. My friends and I have always like kind of yapped and argued back and forth about games and stuff like that too. So it's always been something I've enjoyed doing. But like in terms of like finding my voice and like the way that I wanted to do video essays, I feel like that kind of came as I wrote more. Cause like I started by writing kind of like that first video is like, it's about the Super Mario 64 DS and New Super Mario Brothers mini games. Right. And it was like the video, I think for the time I was kind of just writing it because I was like, oh, I love these mini games and I want to write a video about them. But like, if you watch that video, I feel like this is just my personal critiques of my own work, which I think I'm my own harshest critic, but like, I think that video is very meandering. I don't really think I have a point, and I think I try to tie it together at like the end and say like Nintendo needs to do something with these mini games. But in reality, like watching it back again, I'm like, I don't really feel like I had much of a point here. I was just kind of wanting to share something that I enjoyed, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with wanting to, like, because people do that all the time. They'll say, hey, remember DK Jungle Climber? And then they'll make like a little video about, if you remember DK Jungle Climber, it was fun. It was a game on the DS. I don't feel like people talk about it. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that kind of video. But like for me, I think I found a little bit more of like a analytical kind of liking to go into more of the intentional like design of these games and evaluating more on like a granular level. The further I got into my channel and like the way that I evaluated things. And I think you can see nuggets of that as the videos progress. Like my Star Fox video, for example, that was my first video that ever cracked 10,000 views. And that one is more of a why, like how Star Fox went from, you know, a series that was very deeply beloved to one that was kind of hated. And I don't love that video either. There's a lot of problems I have with that one, but I think that you can see a little bit more of like the overall thesis. There's a through line there of like, you know, what happened, what went wrong, where was like the loss in vision with the Star Fox series. And I think that you can see, just like I said, it's baby steps. You see little baby steps moving towards, I think, what my voice is now, which is definitely more analytical and trying to be more learned when it comes to describing what I like in games and why I like them and why I think such and such is good design versus bad design. But of course it's art. It's a conversation in a way.
Donovan, was there anything else that you wanted to touch on before we move on to the final little part?
Yeah, I mean, we got to touch on this every time we have a guest.
Yeah, it's inevitable. It's
How
inevitable.
do you manage? I mean, your upload schedule isn't the craziest, but you have very high quality videos and they can take a lot of time to make. And like even now you were talking about like you have another video in the pipeline, so you're always constantly thinking and working about a new video. But how do you balance
your life? I mean, a good chunk of it is what I tell myself a lot of the time is that well-roundedness is key. It's super important. So you have to be able to step away. Like you have to be able to go and experience other things, you know, read books, watch movies, you know, go out, like, and stuff like that.
Which is so much easier said than done.
It's so much easier said than done. Especially like I get I get very ADHD, especially with editing. And like when I'm in like an editing phase, I am like extremely hyper fixated on it. Like I'll work for like hours on like a video and like the whole day will pass me up. And I have to remind myself to like not do that, especially like that's like a really good way to get burnt out. But I think my number one is just having other hobbies and interests and trying to pull myself away from it and have a healthy relationship with it. But it is hard, especially like, I think it's funny because I do not have a super consistent upload schedule. I upload when the video is done, but that is a lot easier said than done. And something that I try to remind myself too is like, I had an art teacher one time tell me that like an important thing to learn is to learn how to leave good enough alone, basically. Like if you have something that is well enough, it's good. You run the potential. Like this was during like a clay molding class. And it was like, if you need to learn to leave well enough alone, because if you try to smooth out too many of those edges, you may press creases into the piece and ruin it more, trying to polish it more. And so I have kind of learned that a little bit, especially with the videos that I've been making recently, because they're getting longer. And anybody knows that the longer you make videos, the easier it is to delay them and add to them. And then they balloon into these like insane projects that spiral and you feel like you can't finish them. You feel like you can't get like a hold on them. And it's really good to be able to leave well enough alone and say, this script is done. I am recording it and I am not touching it. Now, it's ironic that I say that because I finished recording a script and then I found like a interview. And so I'm adding more to the script that I'm writing a little bit. So I don't take my own advice.
Perfectionist mindset.
It is. Perfectionist mindset will kind of be the death of you a little bit in like creative spaces because, you know, I think it's easy for us to, like if you're a creative, it's easy for you to want to strive for like the very, very best that like creative output that you could possibly have. But if you do that, like to the point where you won't put anything out unless if it's your peak creative output, lots of times you won't output anything at all. So it's good sometimes to be able to, learn how to rein yourself in and say, this script, I've revised it a few times. It's good enough. Let's record it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then another bit that I do too, I don't know if this is helpful to anybody else, but I've been reading recently a book called Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. She's like a pretty popular writer, but this book is like a collection of like essays about writing basically. But one of the chapters is literally called Shitty First Drafts. And it's basically just, if I don't know if you've ever seen this picture that it circulates around artist Twitter a lot, but it's basically like, just make it exist first. You can make it good later. And something that's good to do is, if you have ideas, especially if you're like, I'm speaking specifically to people who like to do, like analytical or script written essays and things like that. If you have an idea or something, I like to have like a book or like a journal, or I use the program Obsidian sometimes too for note taking. And I like to have like places where I could just write down any incoherent thought that comes to my mind. Just so that way I can put it down on paper so it's somewhere and I can figure out how to weave it in better later. Because if you let those things go, if you don't put that pen to paper, when you sit down to actually write, you're going to be staring at a blank sheet and you're going to have a really, really hard time, I feel like, getting those gears started. So if you just kind of take the pressure off of yourself of making it good, just make the script exist first, get the gears turning. And then on the second draft, make it good. And then on the third draft, make it great. And then when it's great, leave well enough alone and record it. Is basically the way that I would describe it.
No, I feel like that's a healthy mindset to have. It's once again avoiding the whole thing of like just constantly being on the never-ending hamster wheel of making it better and better and better. Well, is there anything else that Donovan that you had in mind?
I think we've reached our limit.
Dude, the fact that I think we managed to have a fruitful conversation despite how absurd the opening of this podcast was.
If you watched through the opening and got to that, you probably got like insane whiplash, I imagine. Like,
for sure. So Mark, for any of the people who listen who maybe didn't already know who you were, where can they find you on the internet?
So you can find me at Mark's Rec Room on basically any social media site. Like YouTube is my bread and butter where I post, but I'm also fairly active on Twitter and Blue Sky if you want to follow me for tweets and skeets. And then I'm also on there for I'm also on like Instagram and TikTok under the same username. So if you are interested in like video essays about games that you didn't think could be dissected, feel free to check me out.
That's a great way to put it. Actually, games that you didn't think could be dissected.
I like to call myself a Mario Party opinion columnist as like a joke, but I feel like
that's on your channel about.
Yeah,
that's great.
I swap between Mario Party opinion columnist and Bowser Revolutionary is like my bios on things.
Oh, Bowser Revolutionary is really good too. Yeah. Donovan, where can the people find you?
Hey, I'm DonovanDud on YouTube. I just actually finally released a video, Metroid Prime 4. What a game. Anyways, you've heard enough of me yapping about that. But if you want to hear more, I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, and I got a Discord server, the Nintendo Boys. Mr. Dean, where are you?
What's up, everyone? I'm MrDean44 on YouTube, Nintendo videos, just your typical stuff. I'm also on Twitter, Blue Sky, and I have a Discord server called the Dean Kingdom. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.